Welcome to the start of a planetary journey. This is Xenoblade Chronicles X. Its story is completely separate from the canon of Xenoblade 1, 2, and the upcoming Xenoblade 3, but this was the first one that I played. And so, going back to it on stream, I think we're going to be handling it in roughly the same order that I did. That is, if we get to the other Xenoblades one. For now, though, just note that this is a huge world with a lot of customization and a huge focus on exploration at your own pace. The story takes a bit of a backseat, but there is still one there that will unfold. And, once I get past the title screen, we'll start seeing it. But with that out of the way, here it is.
July 2054 AD. The Earth was caught in a great battle between unknown alien forces. Their weapons were terrifying and powerful beyond human reckoning. Our planet was overwhelmed, its surface reduced to ash and rubble in the blink of an eye. The Coalition government knew the war was coming. In response, they prepared the Earth-Life Colonization Project, Project Exodus. Interstellar arcs were launched all across the planet, from every major city on Earth. Bravely, we leapt from our cradle, our home for the last 4.5 billion years. But most of the arcs never even made it out of the atmosphere. Only a small handful managed to escape. Among them was our ship, the White Whale. After leaving Earth behind, we spent 2 years wandering in space, searching. We thought of ourselves as the lucky ones, the pioneers who would settle a new world. But our past caught up with us, literally. The alien blitz was unrelenting. If not for the efforts of a lone hero, we would never have survived. Our ship took heavy damage. We lost control. With our flight systems down, the white whale was pulled into the gravitational field of a nearby planet, its hull shattering and breaking to pieces as we plummeted toward the surface. Since then, 2 months have passed.
Alright. Guys, that's an intro to a Nintendo game. Just saying. So I showed off this character creator when I put out a little video announcing the series. So you can see what we're like in the day, in the night, or just in this standard room background. Now I had asked if anyone wanted to contribute ideas for our avatar character, because in this Xenoblade, you are a self-insert, basically. Like, you're whoever you want to be. That's, like, totally up to you. But that said, I didn't really get any responses, which is fine. It just means that I'm gonna be making more decisions. So we might be here a little while, because there's a lot of options to go through here. But if anyone does pop into chat and want to suggest anything as we're going, then by all means, I'm listening. I am thinking, however, that when I played this game for the first time, I tried to get an avatar that I thought looked as close to me as possible. So I went with a male and I tried to get hair sort of ish like this, kind of. But this is my second playthrough, right? I'm showing this off for people now, so I can switch things up. I can be a bit more daring in my choices. So I think I should try the female and explore those options. These are our different face options. This one is very reminiscent of someone from Xenoblade 1, which there's a few little references here and there, but this is not related story-wise to Xenoblade 1 or 2, and presumably not 3, although the jury's still out on that since it's not released yet. I'm meant to be paying attention to the face more than anything else, right? Although a lot of these faces strike me as very similar in terms of their shape and all. Oh, and most of these have the same chin, nose. Like, some of them have moles and freckles and stuff, but that's a separate option that you can select. So, I don't know what to make of it. Maybe this one. Oh. Wait, hold on. Let me turn the base select. These are both saying yeah. But I'm more adult. Maybe I should be picking a face mold fight. Told you we might be here a little while. If people had given me input on this, it wouldn't be taking it on. Let's try this for now. Now, I'm a lighter skinned person, unless we just want to go for something a bit more out there. Blue skin, or purple, or green. I think I'll keep that part at least a little realistic. That looks about right to me. We want any freckle? Kinda like the little bit here. Cheek shape and or rosiness. Give ourselves a scar. Not every day that you get to give yourself a scar. Actually, not willingly. I'll just put one over there, because, like, why not? A little more interest. Are on the left, mold on the right. Actually, that matches a mold that I have. I think. It's a little hard to... I swear there's one under here. Probably won't show very well on webcam. Alright, on to hair. These are our hair options. That covers this. I like this one. I think shorter hair makes sense for running around a planet. Either that one or the other one. I'd wait a little longer, but still that long. I think I'll go with it. Now, do we need the hoagie? That's a completely different question. I'm gonna keep it. Here comes the fun part where we get to do the two different hair colors separately. Okay, the roots and the tips are their own thing, so you can have two different colors. Pretty sweet. Oh, it's kind of like these darker purples for hair. Oh, wait, that selection didn't go through because that button. So, my bad. Doobity doobity doo. Ooh, blue tips could really give it. Or we could just go with a different shade of purple. Or a light complement. Alright, just a little more messing around to do, because now we got our eyes. And these are how our eyes can look. I'll take this. I'm a brown-eyed individual myself. Green is pretty suitable. Well, okay, first off, a darker color is nicer than the lighter. I don't know. Now you got like the inner pupil. I don't really think that needs to be a different color. Develop a gray. Again, if there's any critique to be had about how we're looking, the time to tell me is before we wrap up the creator. Although I'm pretty sure you can change your appearance whenever. It's just a bit of a pain to go back. We do makeup. I'm not sold on the idea of eyeshadow. Lips, just like the skin, the hair, you can go wild. Whatever you want. Where's that? There are some optional face paints. Like you can leave it blank, but you can still get the number 2, the number N4. That design. That design on the other side. More stuff. A heart sticker. Broken. Oh, that's not a broken heart, that's a high relief. Butterfly kind of matches our overall color scheme, but I don't know if I want that plastered up. Some of these, the white ones are a bit... I am the masked vigilante. I am here to save this planet. Or, you know, I had my face stitched back together, whichever you prefer to think. I see this one used a lot for, like, it's just bad clown. We can be a dog. Nothing wrong with being a dog here. Well, that's not pretty. Of course, you can label what game you're playing. This is Xenoblade X. Make it nice and clear. Number 12, whatever that's there for. Or you can go full butterfly. If you liked the little butterfly earlier, then maybe this is for you. Couple stars, it's hard to tell what the current hairstyle I've chosen, but they're around. I'm gonna look one more time back at, like, some of these. Actually, I like this one. And I said I was gonna go a bit wilder with this avatar compared to my original one. So, there you go, face paint. And then the really hard part, the voice actor. Whoops, I meant to hit sample.
Alright, hey! They staggered me! Huh? Huh? Shall we? Huh? Ah! Hello?
I hate we did great. Huh? We sure owned them. What? Yay! We win! Hello? What? Hello? What?
Pretty sure that's Fiora's voice actress from the original game.
Yay!
staggered. Shall we?
Okay, so I'm torn between Aaron or the classic, or maybe even the mature.
It's a pleasure. Ah, shall we?
So what if you stack? Huh? Huh? Here we go. We're gonna do great.
I mean, like, not that any of these are bad by any means. Which one suitable to you?
Yay! Hello. I've lost my balance. Shall we then?
You know what, I'm gonna hold on to hope that I stream one of the other Xenoblades one day and that we'll hear those classic voices then. And in the meantime, I'm gonna give it to Aaron and just be a soldier. Alright, last call for any changes, like, no, don't do it this way, do something else. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed looking at the character creator. Once again, if you saw the announcement video, you've already seen it a bit. Once your character's created, it's time to get them into the story, so I'm switching back over to cutscene cam, and I'll see you on the other side.
Attention, external access confirmed. Disengaging stasis in 10 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Releasing hatch. Please stand clear.
Hey there. Looks like you're all in one piece. Careful. Just take it nice and slow, okay? Your senses will need time to reactivate. Your pod is the only one around that landed intact. Good thing I found you. My name's Elma. You want to tell me yours? You don't even remember your own name? It must be the stasis hangover. That's not good. Just try and focus, all right? Good, there we go. What else you remember? It'll come. In the meantime, I'll get you up to speed here as best I can. How are your limbs? Can you move? We'll take it easy while you shake the stasis out of your system. One step at a time, all right? First things first. You'll be needing a weapon. There you go. All right, let's get going.
So we got a mini-map. It's there to help you. Or don't. I mean, use it or don't. It's up to you. Here we are in Primordia. Specifically at the Starfall Basin. There's our landing pod. Let me just get back inside. We can for a bit. Okay, never mind. I guess not. Okay, so I guess I'll go over some controls as I readjust to them after I'm away from this game. Which, I mean, it's been quite some time because I played this when it came out. Alright, minimap is telling us to go this way. As per typical, you got your right stick camera, your left stick move, and start sprinting with the left stick clicked in. Or camera reset, like so. Hard to target stuff, but we're not exactly fighting anything right now. In Xenoblade X, you can switch between a melee and ranged weapon at any time. But we're a ways from talking about combat. And then the trigger is the jump button, which... This was one of the earliest examples of a game I played where the jump button was just not your typical jump button. But then again, so was Splatoon, and that released on the same console. That jump button was X, because it was closer to the other buttons that you used in the game. On the gamepad. Which of course I'm using, because what else could this game? Right now, there's not too much to look at. Lots of trees and stuff, and it's raining. And that'll happen sometimes.
Most of the white whale's life pods didn't survive the crash, like this one. You're one of the lucky few. Right. You don't even remember the white whale, do you? You know, the L002? The ship we escaped Earth on? You remember Earth, right? Planet Earth. Your homeworld. Or rather, it used to be anyway. Unfortunately, it was caught in a battle between two alien forces.
Yeah, I think we saw some really show-stopping cutscene about that. Let's go back to it, shall we?
Ring any bells? Don't feel bad. It's one memory I'd like to forget. I know. It's been following me for a while now. I didn't want to alarm you, but we're going to need to defend ourselves. You up to the task?
Time to start learning the combat. Initiate by targeting with the R button, then draw your weapon with the A button. Don't worry too much about the tutorial fight. So, in the Xenoblade games, you get your regular damage off of an auto attack. Then you have different arts available to you. In Xenoblade 1 and X, they are available on a palette, with arts on the left and right. Xenoblade 2, they changed that up a bit by using the face buttons instead. And yeah, that tutorial fight's not really enough to explain much, but it gets you into it at least.
You're not half bad. There's plenty of work back in the city for someone who knows how to handle a weapon, you know.
Depressed at the idea of work. I mean...
Hey, I'm not trying to pressure you into anything, alright? It'll be your decision in the end. But anyway, we can talk more details later. For now, let's keep moving.
From that battle, we got the enemy drops, 2 advanced storm assault rifles, and dual gun. We can look through those later. My HP bar on the left there was auto-refilling. Now I think they're going to explain something else here. No, they're just going to tell me that I can press A to activate a button mashing prompt and claim some treasure. Woo! 1,000 credits, baby. Here we come up on the item orb. Looking for collectibles, that's where you find them. Just scattered out and about like that. Okay, got interrupted. We're back. Let's... Map is still pointing us eastward. May as well claim a few more things on the way.
Very good.
But it would seem... a bit of an impasse. No worries, we'll figure it out. If you want to get into a few more fights, there's some sleeping potamuses down here. They're level 2, but then again, so am I, after that tutorial fight. So here's what I'll do, I'll draw my weapon, and here's what I'll tell you, that your position matters in the battle, that's why you would move around. Some arts are more effective from the side, front, back, unit. But you can kind of read the art descriptions at the bottom, although the font in this game is tiny, and that's one of the biggest problems with it. Alright, that was a melee art, because it was orange, and this is a ranged art, because yellow. That's one thing to know, arts have different types. Use them in different situations. I also noticed that the blue thing up there turned orange, and that's because I clicked in the right stick. The game hasn't explained it yet, but that's how you target certain appendages. You can break them to prohibit monsters from doing specific sorts of attacks, or getting specific drops from them. Generally just a good idea to do that. Like, you might as well. The worst case scenario is you don't break it, and you just get normal. No. But then your character knows how to swim, or else we'd be a little stuck there. I don't want to do too much fighting on the way, just because, well, there's other systems that I want to get into when the game brings them up. Basically, I don't want to fill things out too fast.
We need to fight back.
Oh, but we got noticed by an enemy. I got no choice but to handle this fight. When an art's flashing, that means that your teammate wants you to use it. Let me switch to my range and melee weapon. Ooh, I actually got topple status on it, which knocks it down. From leveling up, I learned a green art. Green arts are healing or buffs.
We got him. Let's move.
We come.
The rain's starting to let up, just in time for sunrise. Follow me. I promise you're gonna love this. Pretty wild, huh? They're all indigenous, as far as we can tell. We need to learn to play nice with these guys if we're going to try and coexist together. We call this planet Mira. You won't find it on any star chart. But it's our new home. Recognize the habitat unit? That's where we're headed. Watch yourself. That first step's a doozy. We can jump if you like. You could handle the fall. But the indigents down there are another story. Some big, some mean, all nasty. Given our options, the high road here would be the safer way to go, relatively speaking. That said, whichever way you want to go, I'll follow your lead. You decide.
So yeah, that's the game's way of telling you, we'll lay off. Do what you want. But don't say we didn't warn. You never know what you'll run into. Our goal is to get to that base of operation. Now, this was my first Xenoblade game, and really my first huge game like this, so naturally, when I first played, I took her advice. We just went and did it. You know, things went just fine. But it's time to be a bit brave, eh? What's interesting is that in this game you don't have fall damage. I'd say that's weird because in the mainline Xenoblades, you do. Gotta be careful about that. But something about Mirror is different. So yeah, jumping down, taking the low ground. There's some level 6s. But we'll just deftly dodge them. That R and B is auto run. So if you want your character to just move forward for a while, you can do that. But if I try and change direction... Well, okay, that wasn't so bad, but if I try and drastically change direction, or if I run into an enemy, I'll stop. I was gonna say that auto run stops if you change direction too wildly. You don't necessarily expect to be able to win against this thing, but maybe Elma will carry us. One ally physical resistance up. I'll target myself with that because I'm gonna have the tougher time here. Elma's a full 3 levels higher than me. Trying to press the button in that white one. Help it. Blue rain's not as good. I don't know if Elma can heal us. I would if I had that, or... Oh, we somehow beat it. Ah, take that, game. Not all enemies are aggressive, so even though I just passed by quite a large fella, he's minding his own business. He doesn't care. He knows I'm gonna leave him alone. Not all enemies think like that, but it's good to know that sometimes you can just walk on through, even if they're higher level. Now, this planet has many continents to it, and we're on right now is really just the first one. Let's see. Across the water, way up. And I would get to see what lies on the beaches. Yeah. Items across the way, but that's a level 8 and it's pretty aggressive. I'll just go for a little swim. I don't see any aquatic enemies right now, so we should... Don't forget you can use your sprint in the water too. The game, I don't think they explicitly tell you that, but like, button prompt is still there if you have the HUD enabled to tell you what to do. That is a group of enemies that I probably cannot handle. Oh, so... On by. Grab that item orb and then turn towards that door line where I can... Oh. Mindful of that crabble-type enemy over there. Oh, okay, this might be a bit of a situation. See if they'll notice. Are so good. And it's a West Gate Plain, which means we're almost at the West Gate. I see nothing wrong with taking the low road if you want to. Let's go meet humankind.
Looks a lot bigger up close, doesn't it? And this was just the habitat unit. The White Whale was one hell of a ship. Until it all came crashing down, at least. That's the West Gate. It's closed off now for security reasons. But we've repurposed a freight elevator that will get us inside. Grexes. Riled. We can't leave them roaming here. Not this close to the gate. We're gonna have to take them down. You ready? It's a shame we had to settle near so much wildlife. Luckily, some species aren't so hostile, but they aren't necessarily friendly either. I've come to learn that there's a fine line between self-defense and provoking a fight. We need to walk that line. All right, let's head in. Who knows? Maybe seeing the inside will jog your memory.
All that experience is paid off.
Okay, I explained a bit more during that fight, but my mic was still muted, and I had a hard time getting to it, especially because then some car came screeching down the road outside my house and distracted me. So I'm very sorry. Let's see if I can recall what I said roughly. Oh yeah, I was saying don't spam your art. Wait for the right moments to use them. So when Elma called out for me to do a melee art, it was a good moment because she had staggered the enemy, and my melee art would inflict topple. So not only did I get a bonus from doing what she said, but we also got that status ailment, which toppled it, mobilized it in the process, made the fight easier. You also may have been seeing a green ring fill up around your arts when you're not using them. So after you use an art, it goes on a regular cooldown before you can use it again. That's how it keeps you from spamming the strong stuff too much, and your auto attack fills the rest of the time. But if you wait for that green ring to fill up, that's a secondary cooldown, and then you get a more potent version of that art if it's full. We also unlocked a new art during that fight and immediately became available to us, which is handy. Otherwise, just took turns targeting appendages, using arts when they felt right, and yeah, here we are now. Like Alma said, that gate is closed off, but it looks like we have our first human, other than Elma. Aren't you lucky? Oh, hello, you must be the new friend that Colonel Elma mentioned for report. Having just woken up after all that time, I'm sure you're dying to get home and take a shower. Unfortunately, the west gate is closed at the moment. If you want to enter the city, you'll need to use the elevator at the top of the stairs. Do a quick bit of peeking around down here. You never know when you can find some hidden goodies, right? Dooba. Camera will cooperate. Ah, okay, well. Nothing here currently. This would call the elevator down if it had been left in upright position. We were just down there. And I got here at a very nice time of day to show this off. Got a little rainbow. Ah, it's good to be back.
Well, here we are. Not too shabby, huh? For a giant beached spaceship, anyway. But, like it or not, this place is our home now. We took the name from the city it was modeled after back on Earth. We call it New Los Angeles. Welcome to NLA.
And so it was that another survivor came to join our band of refugees. Together, we resolved to forge a new way of life here on Mira, come what may. New LA was our beautiful lie to ourselves. Truth is, we were adrift, heading into the unknown. Our native home was gone, swallowed in a shroud of light. And our future was uncertain. We had no idea what fate lay in store for us. Only that we had to keep living in order to see it.
How about a quick tour of the facilities to refresh your memory? Let's start with your living quarters. Follow me.
Brave citizens of New Los Angeles, good day. This is your Director General, Maurice Chausson. Today, I once again come to you with news I am truly delighted to share. Yesterday, we repatriated 10 more White Whale crew members. These fellow pioneers will rejoin our ranks as citizens of NLA, bringing with them skills and know-how that will bolster our ability to survive and indeed flourish here in our new home. This, of course, is only the latest success in our continuing efforts.
Director General? Since when?
For the rescue and recovery
2 days
of
ago,
all
ma'am.
our brothers and sisters. I stand here truly
From political aide to Director General in just a few weeks. At this rate, he'll be Emperor by next month.
together for a better NLA and a better
Irina?
tomorrow.
Gwyn?
Nice work out there, ma'am.
The three of us were in the Coalition forces together. Specifically, the Special Operations Heavy Armor Training Unit, aka the Skeleton Crew. I was a colonel and Irina a lieutenant. Gwyn was a more recent recruit. Of course, I keep telling them we don't need those old ranks anymore now that we're here.
You're still Colonel to me, ma'am. No reorg will ever change that. And that's not about chain of command either. It's about respect. You've earned it.
And the award for Best Ass Kiss goes to...
Well, I'd remind you both the ma'ams aren't necessary if I thought you'd listen.
This one of the survivors, ma'am?
The survivor. I only found a single pod intact at Starfall Basin.
Wait, what? What happened to 10 more crew members?
Come on, seriously? Chausson was never one to let the truth get in the way of a good speech. Still, every last survivor counts. You can call me Irina. I'm with the Interceptors.
Me too. Same division. You can call me Mr. Evans. Or just Gwyn.
All right, ma'am. We should be getting back to work. Until next time, Colonel.
Right. We should be going too. The administrative district isn't far. That's where you'll be calling home. For now, anyway.
Welcome to NLA. Here's the NLA theme.
There you are.
Okay, now it switched over to the nighttime theme. Still, it really kicks. Am I gonna get to talk to Anna, or is it gonna be like, no, go where you need to go? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we took out the...
Sir.
Now these people with the blue dialogue box, you can see up there, they're nameless NPCs. You get some information from them, but all you gotta do is pass them by. Then the game will be like, here's your text box. You can even keep walking.
Damn it! Look, I know what exhaust smells like, and it was exhaust in the cockpit. Just check the ductwork, would ya?
Oh, I'm checking. I just seriously doubt... Hey, look at that! The intake exhaust bypass is reversed. Oh man, it's a good thing I caught that.
You caught that? You're the one who cleared me to fly.
Everything okay? It's not like you to flub a flight check, Lynn. Good thing.
How'd it go out there? And would this be one of the you-know-whos? Cool. I'm Lynn Lee Koo, mechanic and top all-around fix-it gal for Blade.
She's 13, and I know, she looks young, and she is young, but trust me, she's one of our top talents.
Most of the time, that is. Most of the time.
Anyway, you guys heading back to the barracks?
Yeah. Why do you ask?
As long as you're here, why don't I take you on the transport? It's a great way to see the city. I'll give you the grand tour.
That sounds like a great idea.
Alright, Doug, I think that'll be all for today. You can clean up here and dock the Skell.
What?
Don't mind the exhaust. I'll take care of it tomorrow.
Don't mind it? Wait, why am I cleaning up your mess in the first place? Lynn! Lynn!
So, get used to seeing Lynn. If we were to go back and talk to Doug, how am I supposed to handle this by myself? Don't mind me. Go ahead to the Blade Barracks. There's a transport pilot just down this way. Ask him and it'll take you to the administrative district. Which, according to the helpful mini-map, is this way. Dooby-dooby-dooby-doo. Oh, by the way, that auto-run thing I tried to show earlier, so here's auto-run. Here's me saying I want to go left. Wait. I swear when I played this the first time, auto-run would never stay on if I was moving the stick straight to the left or right. And now it's working. I mean, you can stop by pressing the stick down. That much makes sense, but... Okay, I guess I have a new tool at my disposal. That just never worked before. And you can combine it with sprint, by the way, so if you started an auto run and then you're like, move faster, click in the left stick.
Listen.
Anyway, main story objective here is to get where we need to go, and this is the guy to take us there quickly. I'm an affinity chart flunky. Maybe we'll actually take a look at the menus at some point and I can explain more.
Not bad, huh? You can see everything from up here.
It beats walking, that's for sure.
The best way to see NLA. I never get tired of this view. It's like a different city every time.
It's certainly come a long way in the last few weeks. There's still so much to be done.
One day at a time.
Speaking of which, we don't really have time for a full pleasure cruise here. Why don't you give us the express tour, Lynn? Just the highlights.
Okay, you got it. New LA is divided into 4 districts. We departed from the Industrial District, where Doug and I were conducting the flight test. It has food production, skill development, you know, industries and stuff.
It's also where the West Gate is located, remember? Expect to pass through there fairly often. The only other gate out of the city is in the Administrative District, but I'm skipping ahead.
Next is the Commercial District. Restaurants, galleries, cafes, clothing, groceries, you name it. It's a veritable shopping paradise.
The CD is the closest thing to a downtown we've got. It can actually get pretty crowded sometimes.
Well, by NLA standards anyway. Day or night, the best and only bargains on the planet. To your right, the Residential District. Housing, housing, and more housing. Well, plus a nice park and the cathedral.
If you're ever looking for quiet time alone, or want to relax and unwind with a good book, that's the spot.
Right? The park is my favorite place to just zone out and chill. And last but not least, our destination, the Administrative District, the nerve center at the heart of NLA. Note the distinct dual-level structure here. The upper level holds our administrative tower, home to Blade HQ and the government. Not to mention Armory Alley, as well as the Barracks where we live. The lower level there is a hangar complex for Skell maintenance and repairs. And this concludes our tour. We will be landing shortly.
Thanks, Lynn. We'll save the rest of orientation for once we're back at the Barracks.
Enjoy your stay in the Administrative District, and thank you for flying Lindley Airlines.
Right. Let's get you over to the Barracks. Then I should file my report. They'll be eager to hear the details on how I found you, I'm sure.
Well then, we better not keep them waiting. The barracks are pretty close, actually. They're set up just behind the giant blade tower here. That road there wraps around the left side and leads right to it.
We'll pass through Armory Alley, but let's not get sidetracked, okay? We can check it out later.
Do 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 do. Giant Blade Tower, we'll find out what that's all about later. As she said not to get sidetracked, but I see a yellow thing. And as much as I would like to take action and collect treasure, I need to have a higher mechanical level. More stuff that we'll get into later. Trust me, I'll be trying to find places to talk about a lot of the systems in the game because of them. Good news is you don't really need to know all of them to be successful with this game.
Strength comes from experience.
But I'm hoping to make things manageable.
And here we are, the Blade Barracks. Consider yourself our guest until we finish getting you registered. Feel free to come and go as you please.
I think I can answer that one. So, you must be the latest rescue.
Secretary Nagi!
Miss Ku. Chipper as always, I see.
What can I say? Pep is my middle name.
I ran into Doug Barrett on the way here, and he didn't seem quite so upbeat. Anything about today's flight I should know?
No. Nothing to worry about.
Good. Be sure it stays that way. More importantly, Elma, you found another one. Excellent work out there.
Just doing my job, Mr. Secretary.
Now, as for officially registering our new citizen here...
Why don't we talk inside? There's a lot of ground to cover. It could take some time.
Ah yes, of course. Forgive me. You must be weary from the stasis and your journey back to us. Please, after you.
I'll put on some tea.
Allow me to formally introduce myself. I was the captain of the White Whale, but now I serve as Secretary of Defense here for New LA. The provisional government has charged me with keeping the peace, so all military and police matters fall under my jurisdiction.
He's also my superior officer. And he'd be an excellent person to talk to when you're ready to start looking for work.
What about a job right here with Blade? She seems capable.
Let's give it a little more time. At least until she knows enough to be able to make an informed decision. She seems to be suffering from some form of memory loss.
Memory loss? From the stasis?
She could barely remember her name, and nothing at all about what happened to Earth or the White Whale.
I see. Though, come to think of it, the entire lot of us have only been on this planet for what, 2 months? It shouldn't take very long to get caught up.
My thoughts exactly.
Well then, where should we begin?
Welcome to Deserted on a Planet History 101. Let's see. Oh, I do really want to register, but what's Blade exactly? You keep saying it.
Blade is an acronym. Builders of a legacy after the destruction of Earth. Quite fitting, I think. It's a relatively new organization. Up there in space, we had plenty of provisions, and a crew trained to handle the limited amount of situations we might encounter in our travels. But of course, all that changed after we lost most of our ship and came crashing down here on Mira. We needed food, water, search and rescue teams, surveyors, police. The list goes on and on. It was too much for the provisional government to manage on its own, so Blade was born. The idea was to have one central organization with different disciplines to fill these various roles. Its core was pulled from the Coalition military, so it's mostly former soldiers. But fighting isn't our most important duty. Right now, we have a single top priority that supersedes all others. The search for and recovery of the Lifehold.
Take a look at this. The White Whale was designed to carry an exceedingly large number of passengers, all of them held in stasis. All housed in a structure called the Lifehold. This is a complete schematic of that facility. Only essential personnel were conscious and active for the journey from Earth. The flight crew, maintenance engineers. And of course, some military so we could defend ourselves if necessary. But the vast majority were in the Lifehold. Are in the Lifehold. With any luck, they're all still there, in stasis, waiting to be rescued. But there's a problem. We now know the Lifehold broke apart along with the rest of the ship when we came down on Mira. What we don't know is exactly where all the pieces landed. Not very comforting, I know. Blade's top priority now is locating the missing units.
Well, how did we end up on this planet in the first place?
It started at the end, 2 years ago. The end of Earth. The casualty of a battle between two hyper-advanced alien civilizations. Their technology and weapons were beyond our comprehension. We were like infants, naked, powerless. The Earth was reduced to ash and blown away.
I still wonder if I hadn't been there. If maybe all of this could have somehow been avoided.
No one can know that, Elma. What we do know is without you, there'd have been no Project Exodus, and no escape for any of us. Did it go perfectly? No. But we are here, and we are alive. We survived. So yes, Project Exodus. Once we learned the Earth might be threatened, we needed a plan to preserve all her various life forms. That plan was the Earth-Life Colonization Project, otherwise known as Project Exodus.
Those of us who escaped on the White Whale spent over 2 years wandering in space. 2 hard years. But we clung to our mission, find a habitable planet and settle there. We had no idea how long it would take. Or that the decision would eventually be made for us.
The Xenoforms found us again, and, well, it wasn't a happy reunion. Earth wasn't enough. They wanted humanity destroyed. Planet Mira when we lost control of the White Whale. Inertia and gravity took it from there.
The ship had taken way too much damage to survive entering the atmosphere intact. We had no choice. We channeled all the power we had left to soft land the habitat. Once the dust cleared, we set to work transforming it into its current state. Searching for survivors, establishing Blade, installing the provisional government. Basically, making it a sustainable city.
Okay, so we've had a very long cutscene session with a lot of flashbacks to stuff that we already saw at the start of the game. Now how about registering me for this organization?
Yes. All citizens of NLA are required to register their name, age, and occupation. We also ask you report any personal assets and take a short survey regarding your current state of health. All purely as a precaution. I'm sure you understand. As the caretakers of humanity's survival, we all have certain responsibilities.
And hey, it's not all bad. Registering gets you access to all kinds of public services.
In any case, I'm sure this is all a lot to digest. You'll be wanting some time. Ms. Ku, even I'm tired of hearing myself speak. Why don't you take our guest out for some air? Perhaps a tour of the administrative district.
Yes, sir. Come on, we'll keep this briefing brief.
Oh boy. That was a lot of cutscene. This game does not have very many story moments. I mean, I suppose there's a lot of optional side stories with cutscenes, but I did not remember the opening having this much, even though the opening is where you'll find most of the cutscene. Anyway, this is our base. We got a little kitchen-y area, some plant partitions, and of course the all-important exit.
You know, it's not every day we're authorized to let a civilian tour the administrative district.
Yeah. Nagi must really, really want her to join Blade.
The AD is a bit different from the other districts. It's got everything a Blade would need, all in one place, without any extra fluff.
Get a load of that skill. Even the way that they walk is so cool. Oh yeah, work it, baby.
As a reminder, that character is 13 years old. Let's gaze longingly at it with her.
Now this girl gets it. Aren't they just the coolest? Just everything about them. The lasers, the force fields, the bipedal and vehicular transformations. You ever have that dream where you're inside one and it's just transforming over and over and over? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Sure, I do.
I don't normally show this to people, but I've been working on some Skell fanfiction. Hold on, I'll just pull it up here. 1 sec.
Lynn?
Oh, right. Sorry.
I don't think you get all that if you choose the first dialogue option.
To counter potential alien threats. It wasn't enough to save Earth, though. We were outnumbered and outgunned. Still, just look around you. New LA has gone from basically nothing to this in just 2 short months. We could never have come so far, so fast, without Skell technology.
And it's lines like Skell fanfiction that tell you this is a very different Xenoblade from the main one.
Duh. For one thing, only Blades are allowed to pilot Skells. And even then, you need a license.
These aren't toys we're talking about. They're complex machines with powerful weapons. And they're a precious resource. We only have so many of them to go around. So yes, as you might imagine, the certification process is a fairly rigorous one.
I'm sure you're thinking, where do I sign up for the test? But it's not that simple. They choose you, not the other way around. You can't just walk in the front door and volunteer.
There is some criteria. The details are largely hidden, but basically, HQ only allows the cream of the crop to take the test. Blades who go above and beyond in their duties, and for the people of New LA in general.
So what do you say? If you become a Blade and work hard, I'm sure it'll only be a matter of time before they tap you on the shoulder.
Speaking of work, that reminds me. Why don't we check out the mission control board first? That's where we take on our assignments.
Oh boy, assignment.
Good call. Let's head on over.
And I cross the street. I don't know, it seems like a tough job. Better look both ways. Carefully, never know when another scale is gonna work it. Ah, wrong terminal. Sorry, they actually meant this one.
So this is mission control. We don't have a dispatch system yet, so Blades usually choose their own assignments. Everyone comes here and selects from the missions available on the board.
These are side
and
quests.
It's not just official Blade tasks. Anyone with a request is free to post here. Businesses, citizens, whoever.
Yeah, it's basically how anything gets done in New LA, so the board is constantly updating. Just about every Blade will stop by here at some point.
Typically, they're generic side quests that you can repeat.
You'll always find a number of Blades around here, blowing off steam or browsing mission control for their next assignment.
Whenever I get freed up, I'll stop here first thing to check for any missions I might be suited for.
Likewise. And if the assignment seems too tough to handle solo, that's what the Scout console is for. We should show you that next.
Hey, who's giving this tour anyway? We also have the Scout
Which
console.
game had Radiant
Assignment
quests?
seems too tough to handle solo. And Elma just said that, didn't she?
Hey.
Yes?
Hey, you. What's up? Oh, yeah, see, I never played a Skyrim. Or an Elder Scrolls. Or a Bethesda. Hello, Blade Receptionist. Go do your best. Blah, blah, blah. Blue, blue, blue. Blee, blee, blee. Let's see. Oh, they want me to cross the street again. Except this way. Wait, now they want me to use this one. Okay.
Ta-da! The Blade Scout console. When the going gets tough, the tough go to the Scout console. You know, to get tougher.
If you do end up joining us, you'll quickly realize just how important this little kiosk is. A lot of the mission control assignments are too much for any one Blade to handle. They tend to call for multiple members with specialized knowledge or unique skills. This console lets you search for and recruit other Blades to fill those roles for just such an occasion.
You can't spell Blade without team. Sorta. Anyway, awesome, right? So, you ready to join up?
Hang on, Lynn. Take it easy.
You told me I can take missions and request teammates.
Just saying, you'd have to be some
I'm
kind of an
totally
idiot not to
convinced.
wanna join Blade. Or maybe a crazy person.
Oh, and here I thought you might be pressuring our guest.
Apology accepted. Now, how about a little shopping?
What does
I'm not
idiot
talking
stand
about
for?
stuff in the
It
commercial
stands
district.
for,
I'm talking about Armory Alley.
industrious development, including outside tragedies. Totally. Okay, so this is where I get... I mean, it wasn't the worst acronym, right? Right. this is where I get into, man, okay, it's gonna be hard to talk about this game without talking about the features that don't work as much anymore. Xenoblade X was positioned to have online components. It's stuck on the Wii U. You can imagine where that's going. So this little teammate request terminal, just for clarity, it should still work. Because it doesn't require being online with other people at the same time. But this is where people would upload their own avatars. Like, I could make my own character available to help out on other missions. And this is good because, you know, there's different skill trees and classes. So maybe you need someone who focused their character on a different set of arts to help you out with a fight. Then yeah, you can call like a little ghost copy of them from here. So all the ones that were in the game should still be there, but there's gonna be other online components to this game that just don't really work anymore. And I mean, we'll see them when we see them. And yes, sometime, like, I think it was a good solid year before Nintendo announced the Wii U eShop closure that's coming up in a few months. I did at one point buy an external hard drive so that I have enough room to download the data packs, knowing that I'd probably revisit this game. Here's the thing, I didn't have an external hard drive before, so when I played this game on release, I did in fact play the physical version with none of the updates. And I got pretty far. But for this stream, I have all the updates. So, this game is running as optimally as it possibly can. At least for this stream. It's totally workable. I played 200 hours of the game without a single update. And it's not really frame rate that gets addressed so much as loading. Like, the draw distance will be better if you have the updates. Which is nice so that your enemies are not invisible.
Blades can requisition equipment from any of the vendors here.
I won't lie. Most Blade members face danger on a daily basis. Having the latest gear isn't about impressing your friends. It's a matter of survival.
True enough. And that goes not only for your personal armor and weapons, what we call ground gear, but for skell equipment as well.
You can even... Huh? Oh, right, the door. I think all that's left is the heart of Blade itself. Blade Tower.
The worst running game I ever encountered. I don't know if I ever encountered a game that had, like, blatant frame dropping all over the place, but I do know of some with very excessive loading time. I mean, of course I can talk about Wii U titles in that regard. The original Lego City Undercover, when it was Wii U exclusive, had atrocious load time. I've not played the Deadly Premonition games, but I am aware of their infamous ability to run. But then, as a more recent example, on Switch, and I haven't tested other versions of this game yet, but I do know that the Switch version sucks. And that's Chris Tales. It takes so long to do anything in the Switch version of that game. I have not tried the other platforms. I have access to it on Xbox Game Pass, so maybe it runs better there. But yeah.
So yeah, Blade Tower. When we come here, it's usually to stop by Blade HQ. The higher-ups, like Secretary Nagi and Commander
I haven't played
Van
Crystal
spend most of
Chronicles,
their day
so
here.
those people are probably right, but I don't have experience
They're
in it.
based in the tower. Guys like our new Director General.
Also, I know I'm
Nash
talking
Swan
over these
together.
cutscenes right now, but we've been through this
Blade
tour
sometimes reports
already.
to leadership here after we
Essentially.
finish
Like, we
assignments.
heard
You'll
the
want to
rough
remember this
route.
place.
about does it for our tour. So, what do you think? Pretty amazing setup, right? You can't wait to join Blade, right?
Okay, Lynn, seriously, that's enough. We're not here to make a sales pitch. We just want you to have all the facts so you can make an informed decision to join us, or not. Now that
Spoiler alert, we don't really have a game unless we join them.
Good impression, but your decision will be just that, your decision. In any case, let's head back to the barracks. Secretary Nagi will be waiting.
And that whole rigmarole is considered the first chapter. Honestly, the prologue was more engaging, because the prologue actually lets you run around on the planet and battle stuff for a little while. And chapter 1 is really just, let's walk around the city for a bit. Oh no, I've heard horror stories of the Kingdom Hearts Cloud Collection. Otherwise, I would be very tempted to give it a try. Never had the opportunity to play the series because of its PlayStation exclusivity. I mean, even with the Xbox version being a thing now, I don't really have a way to play that because I can only play the cloud games on xCloud. I would trust xCloud with it more than I would trust Nintendo Switch with it, for sure.
Well.
Where am I going again? I'm just walking around the city without paying attention to my destination. I mean, certainly the combat system is like that of an MMO, and I mean, X is the most MMO-like of them all. Because of those online components. You can get other people with you to play a mission together, and there's other MMO-type features as well that we'll get into. But again, those are the ones that are probably broken because of the online.
Yes, very amusing.
Who wants a fresh cup of tea?
Thank you, Ms. Gu, but I can't stay long. I just wanted to pass along a request from your commanding officer.
Commander Vandam? Does it have anything to do with our new arrival?
Correct. He stopped by while you were out on your tour. He said he'll come back, but that I shouldn't wait to ask you.
Here we go. I bet I can guess.
You probably can. He wants to fast-track our new friend here for blade duty with a training assignment.
What in the hell are we waiting for?
As he put it.
I'd say he does a pretty good impression.
Have a way with words.
Makes even my pitch sound smooth.
I explained about the memory issues, but he didn't see it as a problem. And to be honest, given our current need for blade recruits, I can't say I entirely disagree.
Hey, it's not me you need to convince. Blade service is voluntary, remember?
Of course, and I would never force or coerce anyone. Well, friend, what do you say? Can we count on you to do your part? Ms. Ku, how much do you know about life pods?
Life pods? You mean like from the white whale?
Yes, those life pods. Like the one Elma, a blade, rescued our friend here from. Emphasis on the word rescued.
I
Because
see.
if you aren't released, you just sit there frozen in stasis. Forever.
So did you have an engineering question about life pods? Or is this all part of the guilt trip?
I'm sure
Called
I
out.
have no idea what you're talking about. Now, what'll it be, friend? Now, you wouldn't want to refuse the people who saved your life, would you, friend?
I mean, I've done it twice.
You said no, you wouldn't refuse. That's a yes, right?
Man. I never refused before, so this is all new to me.
You said no, you wouldn't refuse. That's a yes, right?
Alright, that's the end of the line. Fine, I will play the video game.
I knew you'd make the right choice. Welcome to the organization. Elma,
I would
she
never
can start
force
on
or
your team. We'll begin
coerce
training
anyone.
immediately.
Yes, Mr. Secretary. With pleasure.
All right. Welcome to the Cool Kids Club.
Now then, let's discuss that training assignment. We've decided to start you out on a probe installation, just to get your feet wet.
I guess we should back up a bit. Here in New LA, we're using a specialized computer system called Frontier Nav to help us deploy a sensor grid across Mira. A network of data probes that allows us to monitor conditions and collect all kinds of information about the planet.
Expanding that grid and filling in the blind spots is one of Blade's highest priorities. Here, take a look at this.
The music might be a bit loud compared to the voices. I don't think there's a way for me to change that I'll double check after.
And the surrounding landmass. As you can see, we've divided the area into a series of hexagonal blocks. We call these blocks segments. Together, they form our grid. We determined this was the most efficient pattern, given the limited range of our probes. Based on it, we know exactly where we need the probes to go. Now we just have to install them.
The sooner the better, as far as I'm concerned. The Frontier Nav probes can also detect the general locations of living things in the vicinity, which comes in handy if we need to track down a Blade or another citizen.
Yes, quite handy indeed. So for this first exercise, you'll be heading here, to that white site.
What kind of stuff are you referring
Go
to?
there, install the data probe, and then come back home.
Got it. East of the city.
In that case, we can take the East Gate out of the administrative district, right? We should be there in no time.
I'll leave the details on the data probe installation procedure to you, Elma.
Of course, Mr. Secretary. All right, you two, shall we?
Yeah! Training or not, let's go install the hell out of that probe!
And by hell, she means hexagonal excretion of liquid locationizers. I may have made up that last word. Alright, let me double check those options right now. I guess, I wasn't sure when I was gonna go into pause menu stuff, but here we are. They got your playtime constantly updating there. Remember when Nintendo actually kept track of that better? Well, I have no idea what that even is referring to. Never heard of conception. I mean, wait. I've never heard of conception with a capital C. Obviously, I'd know what it is with a lowercase. Anyway. Party status. We can change our gear at some point. Also change what arts we got. Skill tree. I got a bone to pick with you. Classes. I mean, wait. Classes is the one I actually have a beef with. Missions, affinity. Nice, social. That'll be useful, right? Settings. That's what I wanted to check. Gotcha. Let's see. Camera settings, system settings, display, social. So I seem to be unfortunately correct in that I cannot adjust the music level versus the voice acting level or whatnot. Let me look at UI elements. Keep the mini-map. I do like it to be fixed. Let's see. Compact, no dialogue is displayed. Yeah, I'll make that more compact just to cut down on HUD elements. Art descriptions, yes. Weather, sure. You can turn off the controls guidance, I remember them now. Okay, I am going to turn off squad task indicators because squad tasks is the other feature that is kind of broken because there's no online anymore. I can't fully explain it yet at this point in the story, but trust me, we can't do them. Which is a shame because they were a nice little side distraction. Also, there was Miiverse integration.
Man, am I glad we pulled an assignment to the east of the city this time. It'd be a long walk all the way back over to the west gate.
Hold on. Are we even sure the east gate will be open? Last I heard, it was still on lockdown from all the high-level indigent activity.
It was, but they just lowered the threat level earlier today. The gates are officially open for business. One of our teams must have gone out there and kicked some furry indigent butt, huh?
Well, Elma and I did take out indigents, but that was at the west gate, and Elma would totally call me out on a lie, so I'll just pick the other two.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. Irina's team is one of our best.
How does she know Irina and Gwyn?
We ran into them just before we met up with you. They were on their way out to an assignment.
Well, then that settles it. It must have been them, right? Man, forget this amateur or pro baloney. Those guys are where the action's at.
I'll try not to take that personally. But enough talk. We've got our mission to deal with. Let's head out.
Roger. That probe isn't gonna install itself. Let's get to the east gate, shall we?
You know, it's a bit weird to assume that the indigent was furry since they could also be scaly, or slimy, or feathery. There's many different types of things that they could have. Okay, the segment tool is available on your handheld comm device. Behold, the relic of ancient times. Well, I mean, this one's pretty good because you can just tap on a hexagonal segment and know what needs exploring. But Splatoon's a high contender because you had a constantly updating view of things and tap the jump, and then they had the Ink Strike special based around that as well. Apart from that, what else did we have on the Nintendo Land's a given? because that was their push for the console. They ever really top Nintendo Land in terms of gamepad usage? I will say Pikmin 3 was probably better off for having a touchscreen map that you could interact with at any time, because it made commanding your other captains for multitasking much easier. Yeah, it works in the deluxe version when you pause it, but on Wii U, if you would just touch your touch screen, it would automatically pause the action and let you, do whatever. What else? Oh. Yeah, we'll see about that Avatar guy. I believe that's a Ubisoft production. Ah, check this out.
What the hell happened here? You don't think that one Sinicula could have killed all these simius?
Unless...
Unless... what?
This is bad.
What's bad? I don't follow you.
That Sinicula. It's a tyrant.
Huh? But it looks just like any other Sinicula.
Think about it. Your typical simius is way higher up on the food chain than your typical Sinicula, right? Usually we'd find one simius standing over 3 or 4 Sinicula corpses. But here, the tables have been turned. And I don't see a single trace of any other indigents in the area. There's only one explanation. That Sinicula is a tyrant.
Let me check the Blade Report database. If there's a tyrant this close to the city, someone must have run across it. Bingo. There was a Sinicula tyrant sighted not too long ago, but it was a couple of segments further out.
It could have followed the blade that spotted it back towards New LA, or come here to feed, or who knows what.
That's crazy. I can't believe there's a tyrant right on our doorstep, and HQ isn't doing a thing about it.
Well, don't forget why they sent us here in the first place. Frontier Nav's range is still limited.
Oh, right. They couldn't track it if there's no local probe. They must have lost it when it went off the grid.
We could kill the giant monster. Or I could just be like, what's the giant monster?
The tyrant designation is given to creatures that pose a special threat in the area. That doesn't always mean raw strength. Some tyrants will actually register as low rank when we find them out in the field and engage them in combat.
If you've played a mainline Xenoblade game, tyrant means unique monster.
Shows up as a tyrant, you can be sure it's got at least one nasty trait or ability to speak of. The system can't account for everything, though, so don't let your guard down, no matter what rank it assigns. Even some of Blade's very best teams have come back with serious injuries after running into a tyrant in the field. If they come back at all.
Yeah, so this is for every enemy type, you can find multiple of them just running about on the field, and they're all exactly the same sort of, say, like, one bunny and the other bunny are identical in terms of strength and stats and whatnot, and they'll do the same arts and stuff, but then there might be the Tyrant Bunny, or the Unique Monster Bunny, and it's got a specific name, and there's only one of it in the entire world. And it's got some special ability.
As long as you understand the risks involved.
For the most part, taking on a tyrant is an optional thing.
The same goes for everyone in New LA, but
They just want you to
if you're gonna
have
settle here on this
knowledge
planet,
of the fact that
you're gonna
they
have to get used
exist.
to dealing with tyrants
So they're
more.
introducing it here at the
Besides,
beginning.
If I need to, I can always run away while it's busy chewing on one of you guys.
Fair enough. But don't push it, okay? Either of you. If we can take it down, great, but if not, even just luring it away would be a moral victory. As long as we buy enough time to install the probe, we can use Frontier Nav to track it, or any other tyrant that comes this close to the city from now on. Just make sure you're ready before we attack. This will be tougher than anything else we've faced.
If you're a completionist, then for any Xenoblade game, one of your goals is to take down all the tyrants, unique monsters, whatever they're called in your installation. But as far as main story stuff goes, they're not really required. Except this one. Let's get a look at this one. It's not letting me target it right now. It's level 5. We're fine. Enjoy the tyrant theme. Okay, so that could have gone better. Got like half of it. I know I can take it. I'm positive I can take it. That just wasn't the best demonstration. Anyway, that's Uncontrollable. That's the song that'll play whenever there's a tyrant. Or when you engage it in combat, at least. Alright, I suppose before I engage it, I was kind of dreading this moment, because I feel like it's going to be a lot to go through and it might not make as much sense as I want it to. Yeah, they'll call out a lot. I think you can turn some of that off. Maybe I'd have to... Let me double check the settings one more time. And... Never mind. That's just the way it is. Moving on. Okay, so let's go through these tabs, because we should be better equipped, if I can help it. So, you got your equip menu. All sorts of different slots for gear that you can put on. Now, this is a different type of gun, which is why it's in red. I can't equip it with my current class. But these are both better versions of the gun that I have now. So, there's a bunch of stats on each weapon. Not really going to go over those individually, but some of these have different things. Like, there's these slots on the weapon as well. One gives ranged accuracy up. This one gives Iskanoid Slayer, which is fish, and Echanoid Slayer for mission. I will get that one, and then that one's just an upgrade. And this prototype outfit, a bit more suitable defensively. Now, as you can see, the gear does change your appearance. Xenoblade 2 is the only game that's released so far where that hasn't happened, because there's not really a whole gear system in that one. But if you press X, you get a submenu. In that submenu, you have this option to change fashion gear. This is not in the original Xenoblade 1. I forget if they added it in Definitive Edition. They might have. But this was the first Xenoblade game to have this option, where you have a separate menu for what you want to wear. So, if I want the stats from the shirt that I have on, but I want the look to be my original shirt, I can go back to it. Same for the sleeve. Like, look, there's a green sleeve on that side now, if I were to enable that option. So yeah, if you want all the benefits with none of the ugliness, then there you go. Also, there is an auto... There's this option, equip strongest gear. It's like the auto optimization. Of course, whether or not it's truly optimized may be a matter of opinion between you and the game. Maybe you're trying to prepare for a specific type of situation and you want gear that addresses it, even if it's not the strongest. But, you know, stuff to think about. I'm just gonna hit that same button for Elma. And none of her stuff matches right now, so... I'm gonna set the fashion gear to all the stuff that says Elma. Then... It's very early game, so the auto-optimize should be, like, totally fine, and that didn't change any of her clothes anyway, so I don't need to do the fashion model thing. Ooh, now arts. You'll eventually get more arts, and then they'll be set on the palette, but you have a limit of 8. So once you get your 9th art, you're gonna have to start making decisions about which ones you want to have. This doesn't concern me right now, so I'm gonna leave it. Skills. These are passive abilities. You have a few slots, and you have a limited number of battle points. Each skill is worth a different number of battle points. I have not unlocked any skills yet, so again, this does not concern me. Classes. I wish this was explained better to me when I played this game the first time, because let me tell you what happened when I played this game the first time. They told me I could pick whatever skill tree I wanted, right? But this was one of the first games of its kind that I played. So what I didn't understand was that once I maxed out a skill tree, I could go back to other ones. By the time I realized this, I had hit the level cap. And when you're at the level cap, and there's no way to reduce your level, you end up with very little experience for most enemies. Which means very little class points for enemies. So grinding out any additional class abilities would have been a huge hassle. I'm gonna be much better about switching classes this time. So in my original playthrough, I got to like 92% completion just on the duelist. Because it recommended it for beginners. Now, yeah, there's the description. Well balanced and suited for beginners. Maybe I'll start on the bottom this time, now that I'm a bit more of a Xeno professional. Anyway, I need to... When do I get to choose this route? I guess I'm not high enough level as a drifter yet to get any of these class routes, but they exist. I'll give you access to different arts, different skills. Soul voices are something I don't usually mess with too much, but these are the things that your characters can call out to tell your teammates, hey, use this type of art, and then they each give a bonus if your teammate does that. So... yeah, there's a lot to take in here. Here's one. When your HP is critical, your character will shout out this one. And so it doubles your healing potential. There are other options. You get a smaller healing bonus, but you gain some invincibility. Or you get something called TP, which we haven't really had to use yet. Which means you might be able to pull off some big art that will turn the tide of battle. You can set these on every character. Set every character, everything basically. Well, actually no. Classes, only your character can change classes, and but that's it. Everyone has skills, everyone has arts, everyone has soul voices. And this is a game that has a lot of optional party members. You see this group of 3 right here? These are the only ones required for story missions. But you can have 4 in a party at a time. The game gives you like 20 options. So, have fun figuring out what works for you. Because there's a lot to see. Alright, with that little rundown, I should be much better equipped for the Tyrant. But just in case, let's take down one of these guys for practice. It's a higher level, but it's a regular enemy, so it should be fine. Oh, okay. I think another enemy got involved. But I got an achievement for dying again. Actually, is there a setting? Or... I know I've been going into the settings a lot, but... I'm actually kind of tired of seeing the achievements, especially because they have achievements for, like, beating a 5th of a chapter. Menu. There we go. Achievement notification. Oh, I totally forgot that you can have the pause menu open and still move. Of course, as soon as you go any further into the pause menu, like mission, then yeah. But if you ever wanted to browse the pause menu while running around the field, this is the game for you. Anything else around I can target? Honestly, the Tyrant seems to be the weakest thing. Kinda sad. Okay, if things look bad, I'm gonna try and retreat. Blade's friends don't get involved.
I'll make them hurt. I'll blast them wide open.
Yes! Hit him again for me!
I'll stop this one. Woo! Okay, gotta level up. Now we're talking. Okay, defeat Volcax the Pursuing. Here we go. It's a higher level than the Tyrant, but just being a Tyrant gives it such a power advantage. Like, a lower level Tyrant is supposed to be more powerful than a higher level regular enemy.
I've been staggered.
But to a certain extent. Like, obviously a level 30 regular enemy versus a level 5 Tyrant, but...
I've been staggered. We need to keep our wounds healed. Shadow strike. I should heal up first.
Resistant topple.
I'll make them hurt.
Targeting unattended here.
We're up against a big target. Buck up now. I'll give it everything I've got. Shadow strike.
Unattended, you know you want to break.
I'll make him hurt.
Topple. That might have been a topple if I hadn't killed it.
We are awesome!
Nice work, Lynn. You fought well. You did too. Now let's get down to business and install that data probe. If we stay
Pardon me
here
while
for
I
long,
plug in my
there's no
gamepad,
telling
which
what
is
other
dying, even
playmates
though
might
I
show
charged
up.
it before the stream.
This beam of light indicates a frontier nav site. It marks the ideal spot to bury the probe.
Okay, the probe should be ready for insertion. I'll just boot it up.
Thanks, Lynn. The top half of the cylinder contains the probe itself. The bottom half is a laser. It dissolves the soil so the probe can burrow to the proper depth. We tried just planting them on the surface at first, but we kept running into problems with the local wildlife damaging the goods. Burying them is going to save us all a lot of time and headaches in the long run. We all sit.
Yes, ma'am. Whenever you're ready.
Why don't you do the honors? You can launch it right from your comm device. Give it a try.
Sure. Open up that gamepad. Or do I not need to? This is by comm device, I mean gamepad. Guess not.
Good. Now we just need to give it a minute to reach the target depth.
And installation complete. We are now online with a solid connection to Frontier Nav.
Excellent. See, at the end of the day, there's really not much to it. The hardest part was calculating the ideal probe locations. We need them spread out evenly to maximize data collection.
Yep, planting probes is easy. And the more we plant, the more likely we are to find missing crew. So anytime you see a probe site, there's no excuse not to plant that sucker.
Actually, there is an excuse
That'll do
in
it for
some
your training.
cases.
Let's head back to the barracks and report to Secretary Nagi.
I think even my cooking got better.
Unlow, Pathfinder. We're gonna grow Frontier Nav. We need to sell more. Plant one, simply blah blah blah. Press A. Blah. Here's a little secret. A giant beast like that is usually best engaged with a stealth. Doot. I love that size chart. Yeah, at this point, if you wanted to run around Primordia again, nothing would really be stopping you. Well, except maybe the levels of some of the enemies getting in your way. But let's see, what I want to show, if I can, I don't know how well it would show up on the webcam. So one of our hexagons now has a symbol in it. That's where we put the probe. Once that's fully activated, then adjacent hexagons will have information revealed. If you want to 100% this game, your goal for exploring the entire planet is to find the task in each hexagon and complete it. What that is varies by hexagon. It might be that you need to find a specific piece of wreckage from the ship that we landed here on. So, it could just be a little game of hide and seek. It could be that a character shows up there with a side quest that you need to complete. Those will vary on what they are. It might be that there's a tyrant located in that hexagon that you need to take out. There's probably some other stuff too that I'm forgetting about. So I guess you can kind of think of it as the towers in Breath of the Wild on a much smaller scale. Because, you know, in Breath of the Wild, the tower reveals the whole region. And that's a very small fraction of this continent that gets revealed to us there. But it is still reaching one location to get information about your surrounding. Anyway, here we are back in the city and all that. Now you notice I just ran back here, and you might think, am I gonna have to do that all the time, Asrin? That seems super duper annoying and time consuming. Ain't nobody got time for that. They're gonna invest in this game. Well, I got news for you that I will share right now. That hexagon map. That hexagon map is also your fast travel system. Or at least it will be once we actually get a fast travel point. I just tried now, but it's not currently got any points registered, but... Oh, you would want to fast travel in this game. It's freaking huge.
him.
Well now, look what the cat dragged in.
Sorry we missed you last time. We could have come to meet you at HQ, you know.
Indeed. I suggested as much. Twice.
And we know how much I enjoy being told what to do. Anyway, I hear you tangled with a tyrant, way out of your league, on a training mission, no less. That was reckless, and goddamn magnificent.
At least he's appreciative.
So, Commander, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit here today?
Well, I can't just ask Nagi to do everything for me. I'd be out of a job.
Hey, I delivered you the new recruit, didn't I?
Yeah, you won the bet. Don't worry about it, all right? I'll settle up with you later. You know I'm good for it.
The bet?
I'm sure I'm needed elsewhere. If you'll all excuse me, Commander.
Well, that wasn't obvious at all.
Look at you two. I swear, you're like two children excited about a new toy.
Look who's talking. I don't recall ever seeing you file a request to personally train a rescue before.
Is that so odd?
It is before we'd even asked her to become a blade, little Miss Stick in the Rear.
Usually I ask when I don't get your slang expressions, but something tells me to just let that one go.
Enough about that. Where are your manners, anyway? I still haven't been introduced to our new recruit here.
Commander Vandam is Blade's top officer.
In a past life, I was chief engineer on the White Whale. Same idea, basically. Someone has a problem, I fix it. You follow? Huh. Not much for conversation, are you?
So you still haven't told us why you're here. From the look of things, I'm guessing this isn't a social call.
You don't think?
No. So let's cut the crap and get down to business.
Ha! Sounds like you're learning my expressions just fine, Elma. Anyway, first we need Chatty Cathy here to choose a division and pull an assignment. Whoa there, Itchy Trigger. I know you're just chafing at the bit to run out there and grab the world by its tail, but you need to choose a division first. Once that's all hashed out, we can get into detail about what your first assignment's gonna be.
Pretty much everyone in New LA works for Blade, in one of several different fields. Helping to explore Mira, or to maintain order in the city, or... well, you remember Nagi's speech, right? There are 8 different fields in all, and each one has its own branch within Blade. Officially, they're called divisions. Naturally, you'll want to choose one that best suits your personality and your talents.
Let's start with the Pathfinders. Pathfinder's #1 responsibility.
Just as a warning, most of this is going to be useless because this was part of the biggest online feature.
It may not be the sexiest job, but important? You bet your ass it's important. We've only been on Mira 2 months. We don't know jack about this place. The more probes we install, the faster we can get our bearings here and give ourselves a fighting chance.
We've already detailed how important it is we expand the Frontier Nav network ASAP. So, for the time being, I'll just remind you of the highlights. It helps us keep Blade safe. It helps us keep the city safe. And most important of all, it's the key to locating the missing parts of the Lifehold and recovering the rest of the human race.
Okay, next up, Interceptors. You met Akalov and Ether, right? Irina and Gwen? This is their division. Interceptors have one main duty: protect New LA and everyone in it from the wildlife here on Mira. Right now, this is probably our busiest division. Interceptors ride shotgun for the research eggheads. They escort VIPs around, and they help any other idiots who get caught out there with their pants down.
Next are the Harriers. Remember Doug Barrett, the Skell pilot conducting the test flight with Lynn? He's part of the Harriers. If you think of the Interceptors as defense, Harriers would be New LA's offense. They specialize in preemptive strikes on clear and obvious threats. But only on clear and obvious threats. They're not meant to go out and just blast any indigene that moves.
And you got the Reclaimers. These guys are in charge of finding the other pieces of the White Whale. Among other things, that is. Including anything of ours left behind after a battle. Skell debris, weapons, personal effects. It can get a bit morbid, frankly, but it's gotta be done. Until we're up and running here on Mira, and have this place completely figured out. Everything we brought from Earth needs to be treated like it's irreplaceable. Also, the search for the Lifehold. That's mostly on the Reclaimers.
Next, Curators. Curators are the first to scout ahead to unexplored territory, bringing back whatever samples they can get their hands on. Fruits, bugs, sticks and stones, you name it. It's not all picking berries, though. Being a curator also means being the first to encounter unknown indigens.
Next. Alright, Prospectors. Prospectors do, well, prospecting. They poke around, looking for minerals, resources, and whatnot. Things we need for everyday life here. We packed all the essentials we could on the White Whale, but that won't last forever. We need to be able to replenish our water and fuel if we want to survive. And sooner or later, we're gonna have to figure out how to replace things from scratch. From the socket on a Skell's knee joint, right down to the frying pan in Lynn's kitchen. Without these guys busting their butts, we'd have no future to speak of.
Next up, Outfitters. All of our ground gear and Skell weaponry is developed in conjunction with private arms manufacturers, or AMs. Outfitters are Blade's way of supporting these AMs. They'll seek out anything that might inspire new weapon ideas, and even assist with testing new prototypes.
Finally, the Mediators. These are the folks who keep everything hunky-dory with John and Joan Q public. Any problems a civvy has, they come to Mediators. Fight with your neighbor? Mediators. Lost cat? Mediators. It's not a division for everyone. You need to be a jack of all trades, and a people person. Someone with my charming personality? Probably not the best mediator. But if you got what it takes, it's a clutch role, keeping things cool on the home front.
All right, so I think that's all 8 divisions. Any idea which one you'd like to join? Don't fret about it too much. Whichever you choose, you still have a lot of freedom in how you operate. Mediators can still get out there and mix it up, hunt indigens, whatever. And if a Harrier wants to take a break and settle an argument, that's their prerogative too. To be honest, even though it's sort of frowned upon, you can actually change your division whenever you like. So there's really no reason to stress about this. All right, you ready to choose?
Alright, so the main purpose of divisions was... It's kind of like having a server in an MMO. Right, there were these things called squad missions that came up earlier. And this would be whichever other players that are online chose the same division as you would be your squad mates. And so, you know, the game would be tallying, if the squad mission was defeat 5 of the sheep enemies, then it would be counting across all the online save files. anyone who killed a sheep enemy in your squad. And if you collectively, as a group, killed that number, you'd clear the mission. But those squad missions were timed, like every half hour they'd rotate out. So you could do them if you wanted to contribute to your squad getting points for things, or you could just ignore them and play the game however you wanted. Essentially, each division would get points for completing those squad missions at regular intervals, and you would check in and see like which division came out on top, and then you'd get like bonus items for stuff. And you know, it was kind of cool, but I'm not exactly playing the online version right now, so does any of this matter? Not really. But if they ever port this game to Switch or other modern consoles, then maybe they'll bring that feature back, and maybe that'll be relevant again. I believe the division you choose also gives you like a small buff to one of your combat stats. Oh, actually it's listed here. That tells you how you would get division points, which is the feature that's totally obsolete in terms of this playthrough. But the division support effect is still a little interesting, I guess. Like, Pathfinders help with your HP, Division Finders help with your ranged attack, so on and so forth. You can see the stuff listed here. So, it really doesn't matter which one we pick, but is there any preference? I'll say on my first playthrough of the game, I was a reclaimer, and I'd say we did pretty darn good as a squad. Like, we were consistently top 3 across the 8 divisions. At least that's how I'm remembering it. We wouldn't always be number 1, but we were always up there. I think the Prospectors was originally the most popular division. I feel like I saw that name a lot. I don't know, it's some interesting history. Anyway, for now I'll just pick one. We can change it, like Elma said, so if you were leaning towards something and I didn't pick it, you can let me know, and then we can just pick it. Okay, so for this run, I'll pick Curator, because I am curating the content of this game for these streams.
Then it's settled?
Alright. Thank God that's over. By the power invested in me, yada yada, you're officially a Blade.
Congrats, and welcome.
I know you're gonna do great.
Now for the job. Let's get down to brass tacks. Nelson's team has gone missing. Last contact we had, they were installing a data probe out in eastern Primordia. Then, nothing.
Nelson. Pathfinders, right?
Are we talking indigents here or what?
Your guess is as good as mine, but they did have a skell with them. You'd think they could hold their own, or at least run away.
Alright, we're on it. We'll head to their last known location and go from there.
Report whatever you find ASAP.
Of course. Let's move out.
Roger that.
Now you can take side quests and go shopping. All sorts of this, but basically the game is just open now. Yep, there's your fast travel update. So any hexagon with a orange box in the corner, you can just warp there. So, when I'm ready to advance the story, I can go to Southeast Primordia and check out that whole thing, but in the meantime, just run around and do whatever. Ooh. Oh wait, you know what? Before I totally wrap things, I can actually show this now. There we go, that's what I was talking about. The squares around that data probe are now visible. So I can click on one and like I can click on one, I think. Let me. Why is this not working the way I remember it? Well, anyway. At some point I can click on those and it'll tell me what I need to do in that hexagon. Which is useful. And then it like glows. Or it does something to mark when it's done. But in the meantime, there's just kind of a symbol there, like this one's a side quest, and this one is find the treasure, and this one is defeat the tyrant. It's that sort of thing going on, but... Ooh, next time on Xenoblade Chronicles X, we're gonna have much more freedom in looking around the planet. And then maybe we'll advance to Chapter 3, who knows. Probably a bunch to do before we get so much as that far.